Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 12 of my 31 favorite hard rock and heavy metal albums of the 70s. That's right, we're looking at the heavy albums, the hard rockin' albums of the 70s. 31 days here in the month of July. We picked out our 31 favorites out of the many. I have limited myself to only a maximum of 2 picks per any one band, 2 albums per any one band, just so we don't have a month of 5 or 6 bands, right? Because I could easily do that. So today we're going to take a look at the 7th album from this mostly British band. I say mostly British band because all but one of the members at the time resided in the UK, from the UK, right? Released June 1978, recorded at a host of different studios. The record finished up at the Record Plant Mobile, CP McGregor's in Los Angeles, West 3rd Carrier Station in Beverly Hills. Like I said, finished up at the Record Plant Mobile, or with the Record Plant Mobile. All sorts of stuff listed here, right? For Chrysalis Records, produced by Ron Nevison. I'm talking about Obsession by UFO. And of course, that's the guy who throws the whole British thing off a little bit, because of course Michael Schenker was from Germany. The lone German in this band, of course. So Michael Schenker on guitars, Phil Mogg on vocals, Pete Way on bass, Andy Parker on drums, and Paul Raymond on keyboards and guitar. Yeah, I mean, this has been my favorite UFO album for a long time. I basically got Lights Out and this pretty much around the same time. I bought Lights Out first, and then I loved that so much I went out and got this like relatively shortly thereafter. And again, bought my original LP back at J&R Music World, downtown New York City, on one of those days where I went into the city with Dad. Okay, I think I told the story with Lights Out, how my brother and I went with Dad because he worked in the city, commuted every day, and during lunch, took us out to lunch in Chinatown. We went to J&R Music World, and I bought Lights Out, and then not that long afterwards, I think the next time I went and picked up Lights Out, and just absolutely loved it. And I remember I bought the Lights Out vinyl. It was in the cutout bin, so like in the top corner or bottom corner, I don't remember what it was. They had a cut of the LP sleeve jacket was cut, and it was like $2.99. I was like, yes, because I know I didn't pay $2.99 for the Lights Out album. So I was pretty stoked to be able to get that for just a little bit of money, right? And remember taking it home and just thinking, holy cow, this is amazing. So just some of my favorite songs are on here. Arguably, you could say that Lights Out is the stronger album start to finish, but I've got some just songs that I love so much on this album. And I will say my favorite lead guitar work from Michael Schenker on any studio album is from this one. And I think that's one of the reasons why it always has kind of risen to number 1 for me amongst the UFO catalog. First of all, you got the great arena rock track, Only You Can Rock Me. Great riffing, great chorus. I mean, what's not to love about Only You Can Rock Me? But then, arguably, if it's not my favorite UFO song of all time, it's number 2, Pack It Up and Go. So heavy. Love that kind of crushing drum barrage from Andy Parker, the great riffs, and the scorching lead guitar from Schenker all throughout this song. Just absolutely killer. Love the chorus. Great. Then you got the quick little Arbory Hill, right? Nice little instrumental, just barely a minute long. Some nice little melodies there from Michael. And then you got Ain't No Baby. Another heavy, grinding, grueling track. It's kind of bluesy, but just big metallic riffing. Again, scorching solos from Michael all over that one. Great vocal from Phil. Absolutely love that. And of course, you got the great melodic soaring, Looking Out for Number 1. All right, great way to end out side 1. Side 2 kicks off with Hot and Ready. Great riff, great vocal from Phil. Love the chorus, big stomping heavy rocker. Then you got the fun Cherry. I was never a huge fan of Cherry. It's one of my least favorites on the album, but it's really catchy, right? A little bass thing in the beginning, right? And the chorus is really cool. It's a good song. You Don't Fool Me is another big heavy rocker written by Andy, Phil, and Paul. Love You Don't Fool Me. Another just the heavy songs on this album are so good. And then you get Looking Out for Number One, reprise, instrumental, and then One More for the Rodeo, another kind of bluesy, grinding, heavy rocker. Just love it. Great chorus, great guitar soloing from Michael, excellent. And then finishes it all off with the kind of poppy, right? Born to Lose. Just got some strings on there and just kind of, it's like this big soaring track. It's not heavy rock or anything like that. Nice chorus though. Again, not one of my favorites on here. But again, this album for me is driven by, a handful of tracks that just are indispensable to me. Only You Can Rock Me, Pack It Up and Go, Ain't No Baby, Hot and Ready, You Don't Fool Me, and One More for the Rodeo. Love all of those. Love them. Some of my favorite songs from UFO. So, yeah. That's why for me, this one rises a little bit above Lights Out. Of course, Lights Out has the title track and has, a couple other songs which are, absolutely killer. But I find like there's more on this album that just totally does it for me. So, but they're both great albums. There's not that much that separates them. So let's take a look at some charting positions. So Australia, number 89. Canada, number 68. Sweden, number 31. In the UK, this one made it to number 26. And the US Billboard Top 200 album charts made it to number 41. As far as the singles, only one single that made it, that charted. Cherry didn't do it. It was Only You Can Rock Me, which made it to number 50 on the UK singles chart. And I believe that's it. So no certifications on this particular one. UFO were not a certifying band. Obviously, Lights Out did a little bit of certifying, but all the rest, this was more of kind of like a one of those top tier cult bands, right? That just a lot of people really dug, but they never quite made it out of support act status. And their albums, so many fine albums, just never really got the attention they deserve. I mentioned the last time I talked about UFO, that kind of in the same ballpark as Thin Lizzy, right? Have the one song that kind of, Doctor Doctor and obviously The Boys Are Back in Town, but no other real singles to speak of for the most part, and no other kind of like charting big selling albums, but yet should have been. So what are you going to do? But so many people I know love UFO, and I think that's their legacy has lived on. That's the important thing. So it's just a shame they never achieved the level of success that a lot of their contemporaries did. But anyway, that is my pick for today. Let us know. And of course, that very odd but kind of cool Hypnosis album cover, which, again, I remember seeing this in the record store and thinking, what in the world is that? All their album covers around this time period were just absolutely bizarre. But, now all these years later, somewhat iconic. Maybe not for all the right reasons, but pretty cool. Let us know what you think of Obsession down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, pick number 12, as we march our way to number 1. Not a lot of time left, right? It's just under 2 weeks, so we're going to finish out the month and then move into more stuff from the 70s, arguably even harder. Well, maybe not. I'm going to be picking my, however many days we got in August. There's a 31. I think it's 31. Favorite just rock albums of the 70s, right? So we're not doing prog, we're not doing southern rock, we're not doing hard rock and metal, just the rock albums, the stuff that doesn't quite fit in the other genres, right? Springsteen, Elton John, Eagles. I'm just throwing stuff off the top of my head, right? Some of the bluesier players, right? Maybe like Robin Trower, Rory Gallagher, right? All that kind of stuff, right? Those out, Jeff Beck and Rolling Stones and Paul McCartney and Wings and, all the bands that don't really fit in these other categories. That's what's going to be on Target. Doobie Brothers, right? So you can, obviously, I'm giving away lots of stuff that I probably will pick from, right? Why not? Steely Dan? Sure, why not, right? There's so many great ones that are just good rock records. Electric Light Orchestra arguably could be in there too. So there's all sorts of cool stuff that I'll be drawing from for next month. And it's not going to be easy, obviously, because there's lots of great rock albums in the 70s. The 70s is arguably the greatest decade ever for music, and especially for just rock music in general, right? So I'll be doing that all throughout the month of August, and I think September I've got earmarked for my favorite albums from the 60s, and then right? Or what was I doing? I'm trying to remember whether I'm doing the 60s next or doing, no, I think I'm doing the 70s rock albums next. And then September, I'm doing the favorite 60s albums. And then in October, I will be doing my overall favorite albums of the 70s, which includes everything. Oh, God, that's going to be absolutely ridiculously hard. Anyway, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations as well as our merch page. Thank you in advance for all that. We got a couple new shirts coming up, so please go and investigate. I think they're live on the site now, as a matter of fact, so the link is down below. It's a brand new kind of spacey whale one. A lot of you love the whale design, so there's another new one in all sorts of different colors and whatnot, so go check that out. Link is down below in the video description, and we'll see you tomorrow morning with another pick as we move on to number 11. Tune in tonight. We've got, of course, the Monsters Den tonight. We've got our Bad Shark Film Grab Bag episode. So for all of you who are getting excited for Shark Week next week on cable TV, well, we're going to preempt that with talking about bad shark films tonight. So that's going to be on the Monsters Den this evening. Also got part 2 of remembering our first ever episodes on Sea of Tranquility with another cast of folks who appear on here on the channel talking about their first ever and their favorite episode they ever appeared on. So that's coming up tonight as well. So we got a little double feature for you here tonight. Two cool episodes for you to check out. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, of course, with Martin Popoff at the Fun House. We got the UK connection coming up. Not this week, next week. We've got ranking the albums coming up on. So we've got a couple cool things for you on the weekend. We've got the next episode of It's All About the Fuzz. Karen LaPreziosa and myself will be taking a look at some cool bands from the Rise Above Records roster, and then Jamie Laszlo and myself will be ranking the albums of Blood Ceremony. Very cool, kind of retro, heavy rock, occult, stoner, psych. They do all sorts of things. The Blood Ceremony is kind of hard to pigeonhole. They do a bunch of things really, really cool. Kind of doom, right? The early stuff's kind of doomy. So we'll be talking about and ranking those albums on Sunday. So a lot's happening this weekend. But of course, each and every day, another album in our countdown. Until then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.